though kept saying, no, it was a church, you know. And he never mentioned anything about Koresh. Of course, that didn't come up, probably out of respect, because he probably would have stopped the interview, I'm assuming. But you never know.
That's why we don't interview people.
That's why, right. But, dude, there's just too many allegations and too many things, so I can't get past that with Koresh, dude. Like, you're a dirtbag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know what kind of mind control you can have over someone to make people go, well, we've half of our country at the moment, I guess.
Well, we've had this conversation in the past when it comes to these...
The leaders of...
fucking movements.
Movement.
Whatever the fuck you want to call this.
Yeah. It's a movement.
It's a fucking cult. But, like, so the defining characteristic of a cult is the inability to leave.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't give you... There's a lot of crazy shit that present-day religions pitch.
Yeah.
But on Sunday, when the bells ring, everybody goes home.
Everybody goes home.
Yeah.
Now, I did hear, and actually this was, again, in the interview, which I'll probably reference quite a bit, but he said we could leave if we want to. So that's even more creepy to me. Like, what kind of brainwash, mind control does one person have over a group to make them not want to leave? And to be doing that kind of shit.
But he said he was a Messiah.
A Messiah, but I bet you he was saying that he was the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? Behind closed doors.
Dude, for anyone who didn't Google the meaning of the word Messiah...
It sounds... well, yeah.
It means
the
lay person is that I am the light and the way. Like, it doesn't matter what your intention is when saying it.
Right.
Or if you have a Webster's dictionary sitting next to you. If no one's reading the definition, if no one understands the... you use the word Messiah...
Right.
To invoke followers.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, it's
and
strong word choice. Yeah.
To use absolute fucking... Like, I would prefer if he used a prophet over Messiah. Because prophet just means I'm bringing you some info.
Right.
Messiah means I am the info. I brought me.
Right. It's me.
Yeah, it's me.
Or maybe I even Googled the word prophet. Maybe I'm getting mixed up. No, I don't think I am. I mean, you can Google it right now to check me, but... Let me get past some of this other stuff, just for those people.
Just get past it.
Well, because some people may not know actually what happened.
Okay, so tell the story.
So right, because I knew this episode was going to go like this, which is good. But let me get at least through what happened. Let's see. On February 28th, in response to reports that the Davidians had stockpiling illegal weapons, the FBI, their goal was to but the plan went south fast, with 4 FBI agents and 6 Branch Davidians dying in a chaotic shootout. But it's still not clear who shot the first shot. Yeah. So, literally, FBI is saying, we didn't fire, the first shot. ATF, sorry. ATF said, we didn't shoot the first shot. They started shooting at us. And, of course, every person that was on the other side, inside the compound, says the opposite. The FBI then became embroiled in a 51-day standoff with Koresh at the compound. During this time, negotiators arranged the release of 35 Branch Davidians, including 21 children. But on April 19, 1993, in an attempt to lure Koresh and his followers out, agents took decisive action, and critics later called extreme and unwarranted. They rammed the building with tanks, and launched a tear gas assault. The structure caught fire. The cause of the fire is still debated, and 76 Branch Davidians, which included 28 children, died in the flames. Sometime during the fire, Koresh, then 33 years old, died of a gunshot wound to the head. It remains unknown whether he killed himself or was shot by someone else. But that's not the only unanswered question when it comes to the infamous siege. Well, there's a bunch more. But so it sounded to me from one of the witnesses, Mr. Thibodeau, that Koresh went to the door because they were outside and they were hollering, and he opened the door, said, "There's women and children, don't shoot, yada yada, let's talk." And shots were fired. One hit him in the side, and there's actually a video of him sitting on this weird couch in this bed, and he's sitting here and he's like, "Look at this hole," and it went through and came out the other back, and he's like, "Oh, I'm bleeding again," pretty, it hurts, but obviously not a fatal shot. But I believe his father, don't quote me on that. There was an older gentleman that was there who did get shot immediately and died. So that's kind of when, and then all of these people who are inside are like, well, fuck, we're going to protect ourselves. So hence the standoff.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they say it. Obviously, the ATF says the opposite. Okay. They started shooting at us, so we should, so
we returned fire.
We returned fire, right? So one of the big this first thing, experts still debate whether the Branch Davidians were in fact a cult. So again, none of this is answered. It's still up for debate, but there are things that kind of look bad for the ATF, for the FBI. Things like they said that they didn't use any flammable igniters or whatever, but then they came and there it is, and then they came back and released. Oh yeah, we did. The members of the church said that no one saw anyone light a fire. They didn't light the fire. It was not a mass suicide. That they're incendiaries.
Were people saying that the Branch Davidians, like, no shit, like I think that the Branch Davidians were like, it was the last day at the Alamo for them. Like, I'm saying that, like, once the fire started, they're like, we're not leaving. So that to me kind of does ring true for mass suicide a little bit, except for the 28 children who died for no fucking reason.
Right. So I can't remember the number, but a few people got out. And those people were interviewed and witnessed, and they said, here's the deal. Tear gas, and so all the women and children went into this, like, underground, well, it was like a cement room. Like, I don't know if it was underground or whatever.
Bunker?
A bunker, basically, yeah. And so just imagine, chaos is going on, tear gas, smoke, and they're like, why didn't they come out with the kids? Like, it was ultimate panic. Plus, literally, people were passing out. So they literally were stuck. This is what they're saying. They're saying they didn't not want to leave. They couldn't leave. They said they were stuck in there and essentially got burned alive. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is, some people are saying, oh no, they're going out with a bang together. This is the end. Believe what you want. I think it's they got stuck and too much force was used. Even though they're being shot at, you have how many? I don't remember the number, but there were like armies, like massive amounts of people. You know what I mean? So I feel like they went a little overboard.
Yeah.
By the way, the comment earlier, I agree with you. They weren't there because of the guns.
Yeah.
I think they were afraid they were going to have another Jonestown situation. Also, the dudes of... Or Ruby Ridge, right. Or,
even if they're legal gun owners.
Yeah, whichever. Yeah, they were afraid it was going to be a mass suicide. But they were there to get Koresh because he was a pedophile. Yeah. A fucking monster.
That would be my argument, yeah.
I'm with you on that. So
he didn't want to go.
And he didn't want to go. And I do think he had some sort of control over these people.
So the answer to the question that you asked earlier.
Messiah, prophet?
He must have said he was a prophet. Because Messiah, the definition of Messiah is the promised land deliverer of the Jewish nation, prophesied in the Hebrew Bible.
Okay.
Or a leader or savior of a particular group or cause.
Maybe that's what... Well, okay. Did you look up prophet?
Yeah.
Is that what I quoted or attempted to paraphrase? I bet it was. So, a leader. But I feel like he said I was a Messiah. Or I am a Messiah. But he might have said I'm a prophet.
Sorry, I'm doing your research for you before your... All right. A person regarded as an inspired teacher or proclaimer of the will of God.
That was it.
Yeah.
He
said, I am a prophet.
I'm a prophet.
Not a
Messiah. Yeah, right.
A Messiah is always singular. No one's like, there's more of us.
The Messiah.
Yeah, there's like 19 Messiah.
Right.
Messiah.
My mistake.
Yeah. So I had to get that out of my brain.
Good thing you're here.
Yeah, but anyway, anywho, back to the situation at hand. All right, so I would say that after 51 days of a standoff, you're in a weird place.
Right.
If you're the ATF and the FBI.
Yeah.
You can't walk away.
No, right. No.
Somebody's got to come the fuck out.
By the way, for those that don't know, this was all like televised.
Yeah, this was on the news. They
like
all right.
Everything.
I'm gonna. All right. So I was pretty harsh to the Branch Davidians. I'm gonna be pretty harsh to the fucking, federal government here too.
Yeah.
You murdered a building full of people and children. Lots of children.
Lots of kids.
Now, whether or not some of that was death by cop kind of thing.
Right.
Or whether it was, you got children on the ground, man. You need to be using a deft hand when it comes to the way you maneuver.
Right. I mean, granted,
you're in a fucking tank. I don't give a shit.
Tank.
I don't give a shit if they're like. They would almost have to have mortar fire coming down on you before it's like, all right, man, we're torching the city.
Right, and that's another actually thing. They said that part of the reason, actually, that room where most of the kids were, like some of them were literally like passing out, suffocating, whatever the tear gas does, mixed with stress, whatever. But then actually the roof collapsed. The roof collapsed when the tank came in and dropped its whatever that's called, turret.
It dropped its Messiah.
It dropped its Messiah.
There's many like me.
I'm only a Messiah. I'm not the Messiah.
Yeah. So look. All right, 51 days. You're in a weird spot as the federal government because you can't walk away.
No.
And especially now with all this shit in the news.
Oh shit!
They
caught that?
Yeah. You got Jesus Christ of the Branch Davidians sitting inside diddling children, and you can't let that go.
No, you can't.
And they made some mistakes at the beginning. Maybe they thought that there were weapons that they shouldn't have had. Maybe they thought that they were gun running for,
cartels or
Escobar or something.
Right.
They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
And so they send somebody in. Maybe they didn't get great intel. Maybe they did. Maybe they were there because they were like, oh shit, well, we know they got guns. We know he's fucking kids. We gotta have a reason to be on site. Now for the hard shit.
Yeah.
Because I've heard everything from, it was a firework that went off that like somebody like, that was near...
That started the fire, you mean?
No, not that started the fire, but...
Oh, the gun.
Somebody mistook a bottle rocket that was shot by a looky-loo into the compound as gunfire, and that's what triggered the...
Interesting.
Go.
Interesting.
I don't know, if you haven't had a lot of time with firearms, obviously the ATF does. As that's one of the...
They should have been trained. Yeah.
The three things in your title.
Right.
And the FBI is also responsible for a very large amount of time and training when it comes to firearms.
You should be able to tell the difference, is what you're saying?
Between an incendiary round and a smoke round.
A bottle rocket.
Well, no, a smoke round and an incendiary round.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, when you torch a building, you're probably doing that on purpose.
Right.
Now, whether stuff was loaded accidentally or like, hey, I'm just grab and go. But after 51 days, you think they worked out what kind of armament they had sitting on the field.
You would think so.
Play.
They had helicopters come in, which is a big issue, a big complaint. Is there was one audio, and I actually saw this on YouTube, where one of the negotiators, Jesus, was talking to Koresh, and Koresh is like, "You're a damn liar. That's all you could. You're a damn liar." They were shooting at us from the helicopters. I guess they killed one of the members, and the guy was going, "No, we didn't. No, they weren't shooting from the helicopters." And he's like, "You're a damn liar. Tell me right now." And he totally changed his shit. He stopped and he was like, "Well, no, David. What I'm saying is they did not have machine guns attached to the side of the helicopters. Now there were men inside." He's like, "Did they have guns?" He's like, "I'm sure they did. They were." He's like, so I mean, straight up, they kept getting caught in these lies because everything was recorded.
Right. And
there was one part where there's a documentary that I was watching on Prime or something, and it was pretty. Well, it was mainly just all the evidence, but so they used infrared, and they shouldn't have. No one should have gotten that because it showed them shooting, like
okay,
it was like, and so they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Didn't, yeah, but you know, there was a lot of. They didn't handle it well, but I understand why. The initial, you know, I understand why they showed up, but they showed up guns blazing
from the beginning, from
the jump, yeah. So David Koresh, I don't want to really talk more about him. He had a weird childhood and stuff, but he's my problem with the whole Waco thing. I think the other people were innocent, so I just want to, you know, for those listening.
They were listening to a guy that. All right, so
and these weren't dummies, by the way. These are people who came from like a lot of people from the UK, like intelligent people who came to learn about the Seven Seals. And I didn't want to get into all that, but that's part of what they believe in. So we're not talking about dummies. So again, that goes back to what kind of person has that sort of power?
Dude, it's simple. Dude, that's this one of the simplest answers. Because if you got a guy, all right, so let's say you're disillusioned by society. I don't care how intelligent you are, or you know how logical of a person you are.
Right.
If you're disillusioned by society in general, and you've got somebody pumping your head full of whatever crack they've got going around in theirs, you know, they don't. It's not going to work on 95% of people, but for the
true,
the one here, the one there, the one here, the one there, then you're going to end up with a room full of people.
Yeah, that's
eventually.
fair. That's fair.
Now, that being said, like he could have at the beginning of this whole thing been like, no man, I'm really trying to do good shit for people. Like I'm really trying to I'm trying to build this church. Really trying to, bring the light and the way. And we just like some guns
and children.
Well, I imagine that the children thing kind of came in. You don't just start nailing kids. I would imagine.
That's not your pitch.
Yeah, you don't say, "Hey, bring your kids."
Yeah, because I want.
You don't say, "I got Happy Meals."
No.
Everybody, come on in.
Come on in.
So that's not what you lead with.
No.
You get to that by brainwashing people with the fact that you're a Messiah or a prophet.
Well, these are obviously clearly,
but
they already had belief and faith beforehand, and
so every race, every creed, every age group, every gender, whatever. For the most part, there is some cross section that has a religion.
Yeah. And
to say that one is arguably more sane than another is just your perspective. And
it's true.
A lot of times, in my opinion.
It is, right.
There's a lot of people that are going to be butthurt by me saying that, but that religion speaks to you for a reason.
Right.
Men and women fuck things up. Okay? Like, we do, like, if you look at the ethos of any political body, on paper, it's really built around protecting the populace.
Right.
It is the people who are in charge that fuck it up, who corrupt it and destroy it and make it something to oppress with.
It's true.
Same thing with religion.
Right.
They're all built to be inclusive and to be about love and caring and taking care of your neighbor and building a society and building a life. It's the people that fuck it up. And it doesn't matter. Like, mankind taints beautiful things.
Whatever we touch. Yeah.
And even if you don't lead with that, the old saying, like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like, nobody's telling him no.
Nobody's saying no, right.
They're all saying, like, you are the son of God. You are entitled to my daughter.
They asked a few, and they were like, do you think he's the son of God? And they're like, we hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
And it's like, well, yeah, because all this is for nothing if not.
Right, man. God don't need you to have an AR-15.
No, absolutely not. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, see, like I feel for these people, these women and children, obviously, and even the men. You know, the people that were there who got just run over and literally burned alive and whatever. I feel for them. I know they chose to be there, but I also
God didn't send his son or daughter down here to fuck your kids.
No, I agree. So I
If
don't
you find yourself
what
in these situations.
yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Well, what I guess in my mind, and just because I'm still hopeful, I'm the dreamer, starry-eyed, you know, but I'm hoping that they didn't know what he was doing behind closed doors. He wasn't having sex with all of the children, by the way. It was only reported that there was some underage women, young girls. Well, everything that I researched, there was a ton of, obviously, people on the inside.
I know a few got out.
Yeah, right.
Like running.
Yeah, there was a couple of kids that got out too. I think the youngest was like 8 years old. So I mean, they're you know, that's a rough life going forward, you know. But well, you see a lot of shit. A lot of people die. I mean, that's gotta fuck you up. But so what I'm saying is, I didn't hear. I watched from both sides. There's a document. Right. I listened to both sides. And
where do you fall?
Koresh was a monster. The government officials
didn't handle it correctly.
Tortured or just massacred, you know, innocent people. Also,
why?
Well, I don't honestly.
You don't need to answer the David Koresh.
No. Right. That's why. Well, I think because at this point, what happened is cops got killed, and now they're pissed. Now it's a full-on shootout. Now it's a war. We're not going to stop.
Yeah, you're not going to win.
You're not. Well, no, you're right. So I just feel like it just escalated quickly, and that just nobody ever took the responsibility to go, hey, dude, like maybe we should ease off on the fucking helicopters and tanks.
Yeah.
These are fucking people.
Well, they led with that, didn't they? I mean, it was like
pretty soon. I don't know.
They showed up with tanks.
Yeah, I don't know exactly which day. Pretty soon.
Yeah.
I found most of my research because I knew the story, I knew what happened, but most of it I kept going and getting sucked into like okay, so did they do it? Did they not? Whose fault was it? Who started? And it was literally split. So yeah. I didn't come up with the decisive like, oh, well, there's proof that this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still like, ugh. I get why they're there because Koresh needed to be taken down, but they still didn't handle it well, and innocent people died.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I end up.
I think that the only reason that this lasted 51 days is they were trying to buy enough time. The ATF was trying to buy enough time that somebody on the inside would basically mutiny.
Right.
And say, fuck it.
Maybe they'll solve this for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
So.
I mean, yeah, there was like 754 phone calls made to him. Like, dude, like, and you can listen to a lot of them. And you can listen to Koresh's speeches, and, you know, he was well spoken, and he was I listened to a couple of podcasts, and the girls are really funny, and I won't name names, but they were like, yeah, and he's like totally hot, and I'm like, think about what you're saying. Like, oh, he was like a really good musician, and like, you know, I was like, dude, what the fuck? He's a pedo, man. Fuck all that. Yeah. Like, I have no sympathy for him. Or anyone who knew that that's what was happening, you know?
Who was complicit.
And yeah, right. And there's no one who survived is like, well, yeah, I knew. Yeah, I was cool with it. So that's not even... That research doesn't exist.
If you really want to look at it, like, what's the downside for you as the ATF?
Right.
Bad press.
Right.
You know, what's the downside for you if you're you know David Koresh's name, right?
Right.
Name
one
3
officer.
ATF agents that were involved.
I can't name one.
Name the shot caller.
Right.
For the ATF or the FBI.
Actually, I had some notes on that. And I was like,
yeah, but see, that's the point of it.
I know, right.
You're just like, I don't care.
Don't care.
You know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like this Thibodeau guy.
I think it's Thibodeau. It's THIB, but I'm pretty sure it's Thibodeau.
All right. So how did I obviously don't know how did he make it to the point that he's being interviewed on podcasts?
Well, he wrote a book actually.
Okay.
And so he.
I'm saying, how did he make it out of the center compound cult?
Well, so he. Okay, so after the fire, there were people who I think there was 8 or 9 ish of them, and he said, and I don't want to shit on him because actually I actually believe him, and I know that he was there.
I'm just asking.
No, right. So he basically said at the point we knew that we were either going to be burned alive or we're going to go out and get shot, and he goes, I would rather die getting shot than being burned alive. So we went out. And he goes, luckily they didn't shoot us, and they pulled us aside immediately and, quarantined us and started interviewing us and asking us questions. And
It's called debriefing.
debriefing. There it is. It was an interview.
Not quarantining.
Whatever. I got quarantine on the brain.
Yeah.
Debriefing. Sorry, I don't know the correct terminology for military or police tactics.
So, well, but, I mean, I was just curious because he's telling the story.
Yeah.
So is he? Again, question, just a question.
Yeah.
He's obviously like a true believer.
Yeah, he talked about how you talked about like his faith, why he was there.
Well, why he was there? Like, if they're tiptoeing around his feelings now,
so
bringing Koresh into the conversation.
Well, no,
I haven't read his book. Obviously.
No, right. And he said that, if I remember, it was a pretty long interview. It was really good, but he said that he was there because he was like, I'm curious about this. And actually, I think he and Koresh met because he's a drummer and Koresh was a guitar and singer.
Fucking one more time, I hear that. These son of bitches.
Yeah.
I can play 3 chords.
Right. Well, I don't know. Whatever. Apparently, so they met for music and shit, and then I guess he was telling about the 7 seals and just the whole whatever, and we won't get into all that. But and he kind of was like, all right, I'm curious, I'm interested, I have some faith, and I guess he liked what he heard. So he went to the compound. And he goes, basically, we just became a family, and the whole thing. They talk about people being forced to marry each other and all that. He said, Koresh asked me to marry one of the ladies, and I was like, nope. And then the girl came and asked him. It was all for show. And he goes, and I said yes to her. He goes, but I never signed anything.
What show?
I don't know.
What's the show?
I don't know.
Why do you have to put on a show?
Obviously, and this goes back to me not liking or trusting or believing anything that Koresh says, because obviously ulterior motives. He's a dirtbag, and I think a monster. Or was a monster.
Yeah. No.
So
you've hit oil.
Right.
You have to keep digging with me on Koresh.
Yeah, we're in agreement on this one.
Yeah. No, I didn't think we were going to come into this one and be like,
oh, you're not pro Koresh?
He's a saint. He's a saint.
No, I'm not pro Koresh.
And I was tainted by history, like time, living through this, and it would be fucking interesting. It would be fucking interesting to me if the reason that I don't know, like something. I mean, obviously the pedo shit, and they obviously got there with forced intel to some degree.
Right.
Like the guns thing didn't work out, but okay, we gotta have a reason for a tank. Right.
Well, they're not coming out. Let's use a bigger gun.
Yeah. Well, but no. The point I'm trying to make is the response was so heavy.
Right.
But it wasn't ever, to me, 51 days is kind of, that's a long time.
It's a long-ass time.
But even at 51 days, it never looked like a rescue attempt at any point. Like, they didn't have go teams ready to, like, kick in the windows and pull people out. Like, they were there, it looked to me, for murder.
Right.
So, you don't, yes, pedo should be murdered. I'm not arguing that. Like,
that's our stance.
That's a definitive statement. Pedo should be murdered.
Yeah. New shirt.
But
new merch coming soon.
That's not. You don't usually show up with a tank to murder pedos.
Right.
Like, you can just do that with SEAL Team 6, or like not SEAL Team 6, but the Homeland version of SEAL Team 6 can just go in and hit him with a flashbang and shoot him in the face.
Now, I will say that they had a ton of guns on the inside, so I'm sure that there was a massive gunfire, but a tank
tomorrow
trained killers essentially trained.
You could have 4 guys in an Abrams tank or a Bradley tank, or any tank after
a tank
1883.
Right.
Any tank and 4 people, and just the front door. Nobody has to shoot a gun.
Nobody.
Wait till they're out of bullets,
That's
and then
true.
everybody can just get out and be like, "Hey, you're coming with us now."
All right, you're under arrest.
Yeah. You don't have to fire a shot with a tank.
Right.
Because nothing's getting through. I don't care what armament you have inside of your building.
Right.
If it's not enough for them to kick the door in on a fucking ATF warrant, which they obviously knew it wasn't,
Right.
they're not worried about any of that.
That's true. Let me ask you this, and it's not really backtracking, but it is. What if, because to my knowledge and my research, there was never a witness or someone that said, yeah, I was molested by Koresh. What if he wasn't a pedo? What if it was a church?
Okay. Okay, so then that boils down to the question that I ask quite a bit. Why?
Why, what? What if it was that they were just going because they thought they had illegal guns?
And then they just couldn't back out? They just couldn't walk away?
I'm just saying, that if that is the case, which there's a small chance. I mean, more people have said that it's the latter, that he's a pedo and whatever. But
I mean, that is a curious statement. Like, how do we know that he was a pedo?
Yeah, so let me just go back to Thibodeau. So when he talks, man, he is very passionate, and he is pissed off because he's like, I'm so fucking sick. Everything that I hear is that we're a cult. He goes, I fucking hate being called a cult. Because he's like, we weren't a cult. We were a church. We were a group. We were a family. He goes, and from what I remember, he was like, I didn't see none of that shit. He goes, yeah, we had a ton of guns, but we weren't selling them illegally. We had papers on all of them. And I think she asked him, well, did they ever find the papers? Well, no, there was a fire, so no. But actually, David Koresh offered to show them the papers, and they declined. Anyway, he went into it. So he was very passionate, he had me believing, okay, like, this dude was not involved in what everyone is saying that was actually happening behind, So I just don't know.
I mean, it's an interesting thought. So, like, if he was never, if everything was above board,
right?
Okay, so let's assume let's play that scenario through. So if everything was above board, right, and then what? Why did they have any reason to be there in the first place?
The members?
No, the ATF.
Oh, right.
Well, why does the ATF and the FBI even show up?
For the guns.
Why?
No.
They don't fucking need it.
Right.
If they're not running guns,
well,
they don't have illegal guns.
Well, they're saying that they were there because they had stockpiling illegal weapons.
I know what they're fucking saying.
They were going to gun shows, but yeah.
I know what they're fucking saying. But my point is, like, you get in there, they sent fucking a rat in there.
Yeah. Actually, that's how the members found out that because they were prepared when the cops showed up, because that wasn't it. One of the news vans came and stopped and asked for directions, and they asked directions from a member of the church, and he's like, well, so he ran back and told them, and actually the undercover officer was there and heard, so he actually dipped out, went to the ATF or whatever, and said, hey, dude, it's off, call it off, because they fucking know we're coming.
Yeah.
And they said, no, it's too late, we're already geared up.
But it's not. That's the point.
It wasn't too late.
So
no.
there's something else. There's something, that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay,
okay.
Let's say everything's above board. Let's say everything's above board, right? Let's say everything is above board, the guns that the CI...
Everything's legit.
...knew were fucking legit. Yeah. Maybe they had some... Alright, dude, you're not going to fucking 51 days, you're not going to go into a standoff for 51 days with a guy on the idea
right
that this might turn into a fucking 5-year prison sentence.
Right.
Like, you're not going to let the news sit around. You're not going to let all this there's something else here in the story that's not fucking showing.
Well, to be honest,
that's kind of where I was digging earlier.
I got you.
I pulled away because I was like,
I see. Well, so
there's nothing there. I was legitimately where I stopped was, it sounds to me like David Koresh was fucking running guns to the cartels or Escobar or something like that, right, and decided he was going to cash in the fucking money on his own, and they fucking knew, the ATF or the FBI knew he was a fucking snitch.
Yeah.
And they had giving him fucking cover for years and years and years. And then when he's like, I'm going on my own, they're like, fuck that.
No, you're not.
And then they burned him in his house.
Right. Interesting theory. Okay.
And that's why you call him a pedo. That's why you say he's got
label him as this.
And that's why you do a 51-day standoff. But the problem with the 51-day standoff is that he would have too much time to have conversations where people would be like, well, dude, like, you're like, why wouldn't you say at day 23, I'm a snitch. I work for these motherfuckers.
Yeah, right.
You know, so that's why
true.
That's why that. Well, maybe they burned those tapes. I don't know. But there's just something doesn't. I mean, obviously, something doesn't ring true.
Right.
With the response versus the actuality of the situation.
Which is why I was surprised when I started doing the research. I'm like, it is not cut and dry, because I never had researched it. I just remember seeing it and hearing about it. And what you hear is, dude was a pedo, and these people are in a cult, and they were shooting at cops, so the cops wiped him out.
So what did I say to you when we were talking about who was going to do this episode?
No, you said, the conspiracy theories. Are you going to do them? Well, and then my response was, well, no, you are, motherfucker. That's why. But, so, and I know all the theories, and I keep getting torn. Because I listened to what he said, Thibodeau, and I was like, now that makes sense to me. I get it. And he wasn't, like, really trying to sell anything. He was just pissed. He's like, I'm so sick of it.
Selling a book.
Well, he already been selling books, I think. But anyway, but I agree with you. There has to be more to it, because why would they go through all that?
Dude, as much as, you know, the cops, the ATF, FBI guys aren't going to get anything but a slap on the wrist for this bullshit.
Right.
They also don't want a slap on the wrist.
No, but you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you bring a peaceful resolution to the WACO situation, you're going to be a senator. Right. You're going to hold public office down the road. So they don't want that. But the idea is you don't show up in force like that
for nothing.
For nothing, right? And okay, blah 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 blah. But like, dude, in almost every situation, especially on this level, dude, they want to talk at the beginning because they don't want this shit to go to. They don't want. Scraps.
Yeah, right. I agree. Yeah, so, and that's why I go...
Especially if you got a CI on the inside who's telling you what's up.
Well, and then the other part of me goes, okay, so there was the inside guy, so maybe he knew that he was a pedo, and he confirmed it, and they were like, fuck, we gotta go in. So, you know, this one was interesting because, well, one, it's not resolved, like, it's not, but I don't think they're still digging...
Oh, it's resolved.
Well, it's over, but I'm just saying, like, nobody knows exactly. It's still, he said, she said,
I mean,
you know.
I feel like this is gonna be a FOIA drop in, like, well, you know, however many years before the statute fucking opens up on when we can start requesting documents and shit like that.
Oh, right.
But how long did they hold on to the UFOs? And they were like, yeah, that's a real
surprise.
Okay. 2020.
2020. This is the year, man. Come on, come clean. Everything.
Come clean.
Let's
get it all out.
Let's get it all taken care of.
We'll just put it all out there, and then we'll just all kind of just be like, all right, man,
right.
We need about 10 years to fucking just cleanse.
Right.
I don't know, man. This screams some purge shit to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I was going with that. Like, maybe he was like an informant.
Maybe he was an informant.
Or he was working with.
I didn't realize that's what you were hinting at, but now you say it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a really good. That's a good theory.
Then you torch this guy when it's like, oh no, man, he's a fucking pedophile. He's running guns. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's fucking crazy. We're calling it a cult. Like, we're doing all this stuff.
Yeah, right.
You torch their reputation because you want everything that they say to be discounted, like we did at the beginning.
Right.
You know, I laid in heavy at the beginning because I personally do think it's cult. I'm sorry.
Fair. That's a
you know,
you're entitled.
Dude, look, if it's not a cult, that's fine. But in my opinion, it's a cult the minute that you decide you're going to lock the kids inside with you. No harm's going to come to those kids if you let them out the front door. If you guys want to fucking stand it out Ruby Ridge style, cool. Send the kids out.
We'll get rid of the kids, yeah.
Send the women and the children out, man. Then you and the dudes can fucking have a circle jerk and fucking hang out.
I'll admit, I'm not quite ready to say it was a full-on cult, but I will say that's pretty cultish. Pretty culty.
You don't use kids as bargaining chips, bro.
No, I'm with you.
You also don't use them as pincushions or whatever may or may not have happened on the inside.
Right.
But
no, it's a shitty situation. It's a weird situation, and a lot of innocent children and people died, in my opinion. Well, clearly innocent children died, but also I think innocent adults died. But I think probably there was something bigger to it, and I agree with you 100%. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a theory on what it could be, but yours is interesting, though. The informant.
Dude, Waco, on record, like, well, I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there that Escobar was a plant as well.
Really?
Yeah, that Escobar was planted in South America to run the drug trade.
You mentioned that in one of the episodes, and I was like, no, that's fucking really crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot to be said that, like, and we did a lot of torching.
We did a lot of
when
torture.
it came to what the U.S. government was doing with getting rid of fucking, oh shit, that's,
Yeah.
you can't be close to that. Yeah. So, but I just, I'm looking something up,
Yeah, that's fine.
but I feel like it's,
You looking for, like, location?
yeah, because, so, that's interesting. So, the distance between Waco, Texas and the Mexican border is a lot farther than I thought.
Oh, okay.
Originally.
Okay.
I thought it was a little closer. It is 1,691 miles.
Wow. No shit.
So,
All right.
so
Well, still, so
and that's straight distance,
whether it's an
bro.
informant,
That's
whether he's a
straight
pedo,
distance.
whether it was just totally an entire fuck up on
No, that's not.
the side of the ATF, that seems wrong, by the way.
It is. It's most certainly wrong.
I was like, even
It's like Mexico,
even
Maine
if
or
Texas,
something.
I was like, even if Texas, like anywhere in Texas, should not be that far from Mexico. I'm not the best at geography,
No, but it was like I like looked it up and it was like Texas, Maine or Texas, Mexico or some shit. What the fuck?
but you said it, and I was like, well, you know your shit,
Why would
and you're googling it, so. But
we'll just say Juarez, Mexico? So it says it's 600 miles, but
600, it's closer than 1,600, but still.
1,000 miles.
Yeah,
closer.
right.
But that still seems wrong.
Yeah, it does. But anyway, so yeah, it that was my spiel. But I'm not at the end of it. I didn't come out going, oh, this is 100% what I believe. But I'm a little bit on both sides, and I do lean towards Koresh was not a good guy. So
I mean, I don't know.
no, I'm summarizing.
No, I know
saying-
what you're saying.
Right.
Like, it is interesting. I feel like that there's a lot of questions about because you always kind of go into the situation like what you've been tainted with when
Yeah.
it comes to news.
Right.
And the news is, he's a fucking pedophile.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
Straight up.
According. Yeah. If
That's why this went down the way it did.
Right. No, if you don't go digging or if you don't look at a bunch of different sources, more will say that he is a pedo than not.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100%, like way more. So, but when I started listening to the interview with Thibodeau, and then I started watching a couple documentaries and some stuff, and I go, oh, interesting. And then I wanted to really listen to the people that were on the inside. And what so and that's where I got swayed to. I don't know if everybody on the inside knew exactly what was going on, if that was indeed true.
I mean, David Koresh didn't seem like the kind of guy that was doing a whole lot of hiding.
No.
But it's at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you got a bunch of dead people that was handled
Unnecessary.
very heavy-handedly by.
Right.
Now that is kind of what pushes my he's an informant idea or theory.
Right.
Is because that's why you kill everybody. That's why you torch everything. Is because maybe he said something to one of them. You don't want witnesses showing up.
Can't have any loose ends. But people did survive, and they let him walk out. So
well, you can't kill them on the fucking news, not anymore, or not then.
That's
now
true.
You can. Apparently, you can kill people on the fucking.
Apparently, it's
6 o'clock news these days. It don't fucking matter.
God, isn't that fucking sad?
But
yeah, you're right. That's true. Now they're on camera. Oh shit, we didn't get them all. No, not on the inside.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you torch every fucking body on the idea that maybe he told somebody something, and then that's why I mean, of course you're gonna fucking snatch them up and debrief them,
right?
Quarantine them. I mean, kind of.
I hate you.
Information can be infectious. But no, I mean that's why you do that shit.
Yeah, right.
No witnesses, man. We can't have this shit witnesses. Out. This motherfucker's been running guns for fucking 10 years for us.
Yeah, we're gonna get more than a slap on the wrist if they find this shit out. Interesting theory.
I'm gonna get shot tomorrow.
Joshua does not necessarily believe that.
I mean, I didn't say I believe it. I'm just saying, like, it kind of bounced around my head.
It's interesting and not entirely impossible.
It doesn't sound like there's much that's impossible in the story.
That's true.
I think the most likely answer is that there's some shady stuff going on with kids.
Yeah.
I think
why do you? I don't think they meant to kill the kids, but
you burn the building to the ground. Man.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing, they say that, oh no, we didn't start it, they started it, and it's like the so yeah, it's still literally a standoff.
I mean, they're shooting at them from fucking helicopters.
Yeah. I mean,
take a fucking infrared cameras, showing
and yeah. Well, the tank says it all. I mean, dude.
I mean, the tank does say it all, but in standoffs, it's a standoff. They call it a standoff because nobody's shooting. It's a stalemate.
Stalemate. Right.
It's an ongoing firefight.
Yeah, it's true. Right.
It is a battle zone.
There was no standoff.
If we're taking pop shots across the fucking line.
51 days, dude. Long time.
How just curious, in your research, how many rounds of ammunition was fired from the Branch Davidians at law enforcement?
I don't know. Obviously, a lot. 51 days worth. But then again,
I don't know. I mean, how many days were they shooting cops?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Was it like 1 day? Like 3 days? Did 8 bullets get shot?
I don't know if they ever actually, or if I don't know if I dug into that.
There's a second fucking informant on the inside that was trying to keep tabs on everything. Right. And all of a sudden it starts going south and he torches the fucking building.
Shit. We gotta get out of this.
Yeah, you gotta fucking go, bud.
I don't know. I don't know.
So he shot himself at the end?
That's what they're saying.
Or who else would have shot him?
Well,
he's got a single gunshot wound to the head.
Yeah, well, there's different theories that he got shot, obviously, by the cops, or that he shot himself, or that since he was shot, he was hurting and somebody put him out of his misery. Because there was one, a couple times I kept reading about where they were saying some of the Branch Davidians were killed, like literally mercy kills, because they were in pain and they were suffering from getting shot by the cops that one of the other members shot them.
You have forensic evidence, man. You know what kind of bullet it was.
Well, I don't know. In a massive flame like that?
Yeah, you put a bullet on this. Forensic evidence is forensic evidence. If it's a .223 round, alright, first off, you're going to have an entry and exit wound. Right. They're going to know that he got shot in the head, so at least some portion of
yeah, why don't they fucking know?
Yeah. You're going to know.
Oh, cover up.
You're going to know what kind of fucking round they are.
Why didn't they? Maybe they didn't care.
They're going to know if there's a gun right next to his body.
Yeah, they should know that. So now that makes me even think more. Either A, and the most likely thing is that my research was not fucking...
I was going to say, they probably got some fucking answers.
They might have. But I kept getting drawn into like the personal stories and shit. But
I think that's another thing that always triggers cult for me is if you go out bitch style.
Yeah, right.
With suicide.
Suicide. That's very culty too.
That is in the cult playbook.
Yeah, first page, first chapter.
Shit goes south. Use a gun.
Use a gun on yourself.
Yeah, in your face.
In your face.
Or make one of your buddies do.
Yeah, if you're
I don't have any more to add. I threw a lot of question marks in the middle.
Well, you've actually given me more, like, literally, you've given me more questions. I have more questions at the end of this than when I started. But, yeah, Waco.
I mean, that's why I think we both wanted to do the episode.
Yeah, there was a lot there. There still is, and there's a lot more, but it's, at the end of the day, it is a very sad, fucking horrific situation. You know, that probably could have been handled differently.
Probably.
Should have been handled differently.
There you go. There's your answer.
There's my wrap. All right. Good shit?
Good shit.
All right, cool. Yeah, it was fun, actually.
Yeah.
Good banter. It was fun. Well, the banter, because I always like it when you know enough where you're like, no, I literally have theories and fucking opinions on this shit.
Yeah.
Not a cult.